Officially, we are 6 days away from Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day in gacha games means it's time to get hyped, and we are getting 2 new Valentine's Day characters. I covered Lubu yesterday, so go check that out. I'll put a little link above as well as in the description. But today, we are talking about the true hype, and that is Diaochan. This is a hero I do not know well yet at all. I've heard a lot of rumors. We are going to go over her together. I'm going to give you very honest, very clear first impressions and reviews. The reason, though, I say she's the big hype is because she is our next limited 200 summon guaranteed hero, meaning she's going to be on her own special rate up banner. And if you have not pulled her by your 200th blue or diamond summons, your normal summons, number 200, you are guaranteed to get her. Guarantees in Watcher of Realms are not really a thing outside of these banners, so when they come, it is tremendous news. Here she is. I gotta say, very good looking character. I think a lot of people are going to be interested in this. You see she has like 2 forms, it seems. She keeps switching. I think from what I've heard, she has a key feature like that in her kit, and she's basically naked. So if you're into that, congrats, you got a nude one. There you go. She just transformed. She's got the peacock feather. And very quick reminder, guys, to subscribe to the channel. Click that link below. Click the thumbs up. Click the all notifications button. It goes a long way. And I'm going to tell you, this Valentine's Day week is going to be a make or break week for the game. We are going to cover on this channel every second of it. So subscribe. You won't want to miss it. I don't want to do an intro. Let's go right into it. We're going to go through her talent, her skills, her awakenings, and I'm going to try to give you a really even-keeled review. Some people thought I over or under-hyped Lubu. Like, I think Lubu has potential. I think at the very least he's good. That's exactly what I said in the video, with potential to be phenomenal, but we will need to test him. The same will go for Diaochan. I'll be able to give you, I'm good at reading kits. I'll be able to give you a good, kind of synopsis of what I think and theory crafting live, but we'll have to go test them. So I mentioned that because we're going to do testing videos next week. If there's specific content you want me to test Lubu in or Diaochan, let me know in the comments here. You can write like Lubu dash, write the content you want to see him in, Diaochan dash, write the content you want to see her in. Alrighty, let's get into it. Yesterday I reviewed Lubu in the gallery, but it's annoying having to do all like the live editing of the skills, what they're actually at max. So what I did is I took an empty copy of Diaochan that I had on the test server. We are on the Fastidious test server, obviously. Maxed her out, maxed the skills, but I haven't reviewed anything. Obviously, I have heard rumors. I've heard some people saying, is she better than Dolores? No, she's not. Yes, she is. Who knows? Let's find out. Diaochan, what's your deal, honey? She is a healer / support from the Watcher and Infernal faction. To my knowledge, only Soleil has that unique dual faction membership, so that's really cool. You can see behind me she keeps switching, so she's got 2 forms. I have heard she has a mechanic where she goes from one state to another, so that'll be fun to check out. What we do have to start with, though, good-looking character, right? She is a limited, basically guarantees, you can see this button right here, she's going to have a special cinematic. I gotta say, Falsia takes constant L's. The only limited in the game that does not have a cinematic, and the only limited in the game that you could argue kind of sucks. So big win for Diaochan, but Falsia, every time a new limited comes, it's another L for Falsia. Do I have to make a video kind of advocating for buffing and fixing Falsia? Let me know in the comments. Let's watch this cinematic. I have not watched it at all. First look, very kawaii, very anime. Totally different art style. Kind of beautiful though. Reminds me of Kagiri in that the art style is different. But this is some kind of traditional Chinese thing. I'm guessing I see a lot of peacock feathers. This is pretty cool. All right, it's literally raining fire from the sky. All right. Is that it? No, it's not. Wow, this is like a totally different direction for their cinematics. I was going to be honest. I was going to just expect her to be a stripper or something. This is closer to what I expected, yeah. Yeah, this is kind of what I expected. Yep. Now they're just showing off the actual character model. Pretty cool. Very different art style. I like that the models show up at the end there at least as like a background and something interesting. They don't always do that. She's going to be pretty good, I think. I've heard some people say she's going to be phenomenal. Let's find out for ourselves. So let's start with the talent. Increases healing bonus by 50%. When deployed, begins dancing to Serenade of Hope. During Serenade of Hope, let's actually click it. It's a stance that applies continuous heals and protects allies. So this is her healer protector mode, I guess. During Serenade of Hope, she gains an extra 4% healing bonus every 2 seconds, reaching a maximum increase after 20 seconds. So it's every 2 seconds, so that's 10 increases. So if you go the full 20 seconds, she has a 40% increase in healing bonus. Then she has a second version, a second form, a second state called Song of Sorrow. This is a stance that continuously strengthens allies. I'm assuming this is the mode that is akin to buffers like Dolores. This increases her attack by 2% every 2 seconds, reaching a maximum increase after 20 seconds. Same kind of idea. So it is 2% every 2 seconds over 20 seconds. So that's 10 instances at max. If you wait the 20 seconds, that is 10 stacks, a 20% attack increase. These effects are removed and you start over when you switch stances. So she has 2 states, 2 stances you can toggle between. I'm going to go to the ultimate because I'm assuming that's how you toggle. And let's see. Okay, so it starts off at 500 skill cost, but you can see everything we're going to go over here is at max skilled. It kind of, it's like the most similar comparison would be Ingrid, right? Ingrid has her stellar mode and her solar mode. And when you skill down her ultimate, you can switch between the two for only 100 cost. So it's a near instant switch. That's kind of what she's doing over here. So basically when you ult, it only takes 1 second. She switches from one stance to the other. You can see here, she's got that Dolores Constance demi range, however you want to think of it. And yeah, if she's in Serenade of Hope and you use it, she switches to Song of Sorrow, and vice versa. If she's in Song of Sorrow and you switch, you ult, you switch to Serenade of Hope. So let's learn what these things do. Also, I should have mentioned already, she has a bond skill with Lubu. So if she's as strong as I'm hearing, that's extra incentive to get Lubu, assuming this bond skill is going to be good. But let's go now to her basic, an AoE heal with this Dolores range. When she's in Serenade of Hope, periodically she applies attack-based healing 3 times to all allies in range. When she's in Song of Sorrow, she grants 25% inspiration to all allies in range the whole time. So it's not like Dolores where it lasts 22 seconds or Constance lasts 20 seconds or Beelzebub lasts 22 seconds. This is going to be the whole time you stay in that stance. We'll see if somehow the passives or the other abilities modify it. But that's pretty exciting. So it's less, but we should check. This is a good moment to check the base stats. I have not looked yet. Okay, nothing too crazy. At base, it's better than Dolores, but if you can get Dolores A4, I believe it's A4 that Dolores gets the attack increase. Am I correct? It's either A2 or A4. Let's actually take a peeksy pooksy. Delolo, how you doing, honey? A2, she gets the HP. A4, she gets the 5% attack. And Dolores basically goes from like 2,300 to 2,600. So if you have an A4 or A5 Dolores, she'll have a higher base attack. But if you don't, then Diaochan will. You can see, very key thing, when she does her inspiration is her sharing a proportion of her attack with allies. From that state, when she's in Song of Sorrow, as we saw from the talent, after 20 seconds, if you stay like that, she'll get a 20% attack increase. So like very quick math. If we're taking that, actually it's not that hard to do the math. It's like 2,500 base attack. 20% of that is like an extra 500 attack. So she'll be at 3,000. So even without getting, I'm assuming her A2 gives her attack, yeah, 300. Even without that, she'll be at 3,000. And then with it, that should be another, what is 20% of that 300? That's going to be 60. So that will give her another 360 total, the 300 plus the 60. So she'll be at like 3,360, pretty close to constant. So I think it's at about 3,200. Pretty dang cool. So if she's in Hope mode, then she's Healer mode. If she's in Song of Sorrow, then she is Inspiration Attack Booster mode. Let's see the remaining stuff. We're going to do these normal autos or passives, then we'll do the bond skill. So here we have Bittersweet Dreams. Within 15 seconds after switching stances, so after ulting, basic attacks will inherit half the effect of the previous stance. So if you're in the healer stance, the Serenade of Hope, then you switch, you're going to now be in buffer mode in the Song of Sorrow, but for 15 seconds, you'll get half power heals. Vice versa, if you're in Song of Sorrow and then you go to healer mode, for 15 seconds, you'll get half power inspiration, half power buffing. So this goes up to 15 seconds. It starts at only 9 seconds. And then you have this cooldown effect. You can only trigger the crossover, the double up at half power every 45 seconds. At base, without skill ups, it's every minute. Now we've got Thorned Rose. Serenade of Hope, the healer mode, continuously applies physical damage reduction and magic damage reduction to all allies in range. these come out to 20%. So not to the level of like Farsi's AoE reduction at 25%, but better than like Aelin, who's at 15%. She doesn't have the range of Aelin, but that's pretty dang significant. It's the whole time you maintain that stance. So if you just want to leave her in healer mode, she should be like a half decent healer. We'll have to test it. With all this stuff, we'll have to test it. So again, let me know in the comments, but really good, consistent reduction. She is somewhat limited by that range. She doesn't have that huge Aelin range or Farsi range, as you can see here, but lots of reductions coming with these infernal healers like Farsi, like Aelin, and now Diaochan. When she's in Song of Sorrow, is it Sorrow or Sorrow? Why do you keep saying Sorrow? It's Sorrow, isn't it? When she's in Song of Sorrow, she continually applies penetration increase to 2 other allies, whichever 2 have the highest attack and range. So very, very likely your DPS. How big is the penetration? Huge. So they're ignoring either 20% of the defense or the magic res. So for the physical and piercing damage units, they'll ignore 20% defense. And for the magic DPS, they'll ignore 20% of the magic resistance. This is kind of huge. A very similar effect to what Magda does. I got to tell you, she's at the very least, she's a great hero. Is she going to be game-breaking? We need to find out. It's kind of hard to say anyone can be game-breaking right now because we can already beat all the content in the game with the heroes available to us. But the fact that she's guaranteed and she's looking to be this good of a buffer, I'm really focusing on her buffer mode, though her damage mitigation healer mode's pretty good. That's pretty crazy. So let's check out the bond skill. Then we're going to move on to the awakenings. So you're going to have to pick up Lubu for this. Getting Lubu's bond skill is easier if you have Lubu because she's going to be guaranteed. I cannot imagine Lubu's going to be guaranteed. I would assume he's just going to be a normal ancient summoning, ancient exclusive non-lord hero. However, if you do snag a copy of Lubu, hopefully he's on raid up soon. I've got some ancients. I'd love to pick him up regardless, probably to get this bond skill. When you obtain him, you unlock the following. As long as an ally is in the basic attack range, it reduces all AoE damage taken by 30%. That's nuts. That's the highest we're going to get in the game for this AoE damage reduction. Farsi does 25% from this over here when you skill it up. This is 30%. Obviously a smaller range than Farsi, but that is really, really powerful. And it seems, the way this reads, it's completely independent of whatever stance she's in. So it is not contingent upon being in the Serenade of Hope or something. Looks like it will happen during the Song of Sorrow as well. That's really great. I don't know why I was saying sorrow. It's definitely sorrow. So I'm sure people already started typing on the computer, roasting me. Hopefully you made it to the point in the video where I corrected myself. Song of Sorrow. Okay, she's gonna be great. There's no doubt she's gonna be great. Like, you can't argue with that. How great? We have to see the awakenings. We're gonna have to test her next week, as I said. But I mean, without a doubt, it's such consistent support, whether you're getting the mitigation and the healing or the straight up buffing and craziness. And then if you can pick up Lubu, spicy meatball alert. Meatballs all over the screen. I'm not going to edit that. I'm editing this video. But if someone else was editing, I'd say meatballs all over the screen. Okay, crazy. Let's go to the awakening. Let's go to the A1 here. So when switching to Serenade of Hope, so you're in the Song of Sorrow from the buffer mode. Now you're going to the healer damage mitigation mode. You get a big ass heal, healing all allies in range for 500%. Now on the other side of the coin, when switching to Song of Sorrow, you're going to apply rage regen increase to all allies in range. What is that? 2% rage per second for 5 seconds. Oh, I guess it happens on the first second, then the third second, then the fifth second. So it's a 6% rage boost over 5 seconds. Really cool. So they're kind of encouraging you to switch. Obviously, you can just hang out in one state, but there'll be content you're going to want to switch for. I really like that A1. It's powerful. A2, she's an inspiration hero. This we love. Plus 300. Dolores is going to have the higher inspiration. With her talent, after those 20 seconds, she has a 20% attack boost. Now the additional plus 300 base attack. So she's somewhere in the 2800s. Dolores is in the 2600s. Tack on that attack boost. It'll be good. It's not going to be as high as Dolores. It's not going to be as high as Beelzebub. Off the top of my head, it should be a little bit better than Farsi, but it should be really consistent. Plus you're getting the penetration, which means basically it's helping a lot in the attack minus defense or the attack minus magic resistance formula, which is what this all comes down to. The A3 now, yeah, that's it. That's it for me. Frick, I'm going to have to A3 here really quick and show this in battle. If this turns into Aelin range, we have something insane on our hands, something very Soulstone worthy. Give me 1 second. All right, let's just head into gear aid 1. I just made that copy. We were just looking at A3. Then we'll also have our copy at A0. This should take all of 30 seconds just to quickly check both. So where are you, honey? There she is. So let's actually show the A0 first. Can I find her? There she is. So you'll see, frick! No. Wait, I can just show you in Guild Boss because there's going to be no gear contingency. Okay, give me 1 second. So let's go find her again. Easy peasy. Here we go. So let's see her at base. It's just to show you the baseline. It's just going to be Dolores range, Demi range, Constance range, anyone with that little unique diagonal, hot sit when she ults, that kind of thing. So there you go. Very used to it. There she is in the Dolores spot. However, if she's going to get Aelin range with that 100% uptime inspiration, like she's going to be game breaking for Guild Boss 1. Going to be, if you're on an early or mid or late game account, TBD how much she changes everything in the end game. We're going to have to test things out. And like I said, you can already beat the whole game without any new heroes. But for a newer account, because she's guaranteed, if this is what I think it's going to be, I really don't know. I really haven't checked before. If this is going to be Aelin range, yeah, okay, this is insane. So that A3 is insane, right? So think of all the maps where you could just have everyone getting constant inspiration all the time. Think of the way you use Aelin as damage mitigation in Guild Boss 2. She's going to give that. Plus, if you have the Lubu skill on top of her normal mitigation, now you're getting the AoE mitigation, and you're getting, just put her in Song of Sora mode. You don't need her as a healer. She can just be a support and a buffer. That is crazy. That is really quite the A3. I'm glad I tested it. Holy crap. I'm getting pretty stoked. I'll give you my conclusions in a second, but let's do the A4 and the A5. I have 2 Soul Stones, so now I'm thinking if I pull her A1, that would be kind of nuts, because then we can throw those 2 Soul Stones in there. That is crazy, because she's always in basic attack mode, by the way, if that wasn't clear. It's not like she's ulting and she changes modes. Her ult just changes the stance, and then she keeps doing her basic attack mode. So permanently, she just gets Aelin range. Like Leia gets that only during her ult, for example, right? Leia has the normal kind of, let me show you here, she has the Elwyn range, but during the ult, she gets the Aelin range. If you get that A3 Diaochan, she is going to have all the time, just like Aelin, that crazy range. And by the way, I should have mentioned this. I'm so sorry. She is dirt cheap, 6 costs, just like Aelin. So she ties for the cheapest, legendary support in the whole game. I'm pretty amazed. The HP's low, let's be honest, but kind of expect that. So you'll have to go for those HP bonus substats. Really, I'm getting excited. Again, we have to test all this, but I'm getting excited. So all damage reductions plus 8%. I will have to test this. I believe this is not all the damage reductions she gives. It's all the damage reductions she has, like all incoming damage plus 8%. But I don't know for sure. Let's compare that to a tank really fast. So like all the tanks get that at A4. Yeah, so I think it's all damage coming into her is reduced by 8%. I believe that's how it reads. If you disagree or you know anyone else that's already tested it, if this means all the damage incoming that she's reducing when she's in these support modes, or if you get the Lubu Bond skill with the AoE, that goes, so everyone gets the 8%, that would be nuts. But I don't think that's how it works. I don't think. That'd be really cool. But yeah, you can see it's the same for Crowdor too. Let's check King Hearts. Yeah, I think it's just that all damage coming into her is going to be reduced by 8%. I believe that's how it reads. It's always confusing. Now her A5, basically none of you are going to get it. So during Thorned Rose, which is just a different thing depending on the stance she's in Serenade of Hope, it's going to increase the damage reductions by 5%. Pretty cool. And then during Song of Sorrow, it's going to increase the number of people affected by 1. Remember, during Song of Sorrow, she's always giving inspiration to everyone in the range, which at this point is going to be that crazy Aelin range, but she's only giving the penetration to the 2 allies with the highest attack. Now it's 3. And then also the damage reductions, if we just quickly go back to that skill and we can wrap up, the damage reductions that you get here of 20%, now they're both up to 25%, so comparable to Pharisee, and then you can stack that with the AoE reductions. Yeah, she's a fantastic hero. She's at worst an S+ hero. Once we test it, she clearly has potential to be like a triple S hero. She's right there kind of with a Beelzebub, where she's like better than Dolores because she's doing all these different things. So even if the inspiration's slightly worse, or I guess in Diaochan's case, maybe 33% worse, something like that. We can do the math if you want to see that. I probably will do the math in a special video comparing the inspiration heroes. But even that being said, the fact that she can do all these other things with the penetration, and then in the healer support mode with the damage mitigation, she's hype as heck. She's really hype. To bring it home, conclusions. She's a hero everyone should get. She's guaranteed. We knew something was coming. We even thought maybe it was going to be her for a while. So I hope you saved. I got to tell you, my head is racing on my 3-to-play account. I haven't picked anyone yet. And this would make it so I don't have to rely on Dolores, who I haven't pulled yet. And she's crazy. Could I get to 200 summons by next week? I feel like I can. So I think that's my top priority right now. I'm just thinking, so for these early, mid-game, even late-game players, she's going to be game-changing for you. If you're endgame, you already beat the game, but you could see how she's going to scale really well with future content, talking Nightmare 5, Apocalypse 3, and Guild Boss 2. If they give us more epilogue stages or ever Super Nightmare Void Rift, she's going to be phenomenal. I'm really stoked for this hero. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I'm excited. She's cool. I'm much more excited for her than Lubu, but I got to say, I really want to pick up a copy of Lubu now because this bond skill is really simple and really spicy. Thank you. Share it with your mother. I've been Fastidious, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.